This appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire. During the overnight hours, we learned there are 23 victims of yesterday's shooting. One of our victims, Elizabeth Galvin, 43 years old, died.
One person, a Kansas City radio DJ, is dead and 22 other people hurt, half of the victims under the age of 16. Right now at 5, the details tonight we all wondered about yesterday after the mass shooting at the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City. The chief today giving the motive a dispute, an argument between people. A targeted act of terrorism was quickly ruled out by federal authorities. Right now, 3 people have been detained, including 2 juveniles.
Yeah, they said the victims were as young as 8 years old and ranged up to 47.
The one word I would just use to describe what we saw and how they felt when they came to us was fear.
Gunshots rang out in a crowd of nearly 1 million people outside Union Station in Kansas City. The violence happening minutes after the chief's victory speeches. Roughly 800 members of law enforcement were present, all rushing to the scene as police snipers scanned the crowd from rooftops. Video captured by eyewitnesses showing the bravery of regular people, some of them jumping right into action. Paul Contreras and Trey Filter seen in this video taking down a man believed to be a suspect as he attempted to run out of the area.
I mean, there was a lot of commotion. I could definitely tell that, someone was being chased. Couldn't see much. Heard that get him. I saw a flash next to me. I jumped and remember thinking, I hope this is who they were talking about.
What started out as a day of celebrating quickly turned to tragedy, especially for the family of Lisa Lopez Galvin. She's the Kansas City radio station DJ.
Today in Kansas City was a day to celebrate. We woke up this morning excited, and the last thing we ever expected was to have a tragedy in our family.
And that local DJ was also a mother of 2. So far, investigators have not announced charges for the suspects detained. Well, taking a closer look, Missouri and Kentucky have very similar laws related to guns and gun rights.
Historically, both states have been protective of gun owners' rights. According to Everytown, a gun violence research organization, permits are not required to buy a gun in either state, and you don't need a concealed carry permit either. Missouri and Kentucky both do not conduct background checks.
Today in Kentucky, lawmakers and advocates were in the Capitol urging the General Assembly to pass gun violence prevention measures.
WHAS11's Ian Hardwitt and photojournalist Jessica Farley report on those who gathered today, hearing from Tyree Smith's mother almost 3 years after the loss of her son at a Russell neighborhood bus stop.
I made the calls. I did everything I could to prevent and let everyone know, hey, this bus stop isn't safe for these kids. So less than 2 weeks later, my son is injured. It was just the worst thing that I can imagine.
Sharita Smith was fighting for awareness before her son Tyree died in 2021 at a bus stop in Louisville. With him gone, she's pushing for change with other moms. Take a look. There's over 100 red shirts behind me, each of them members of Moms Demand Action. And they're here in the Capitol Rotunda today to demand action on the car bill. Each one of them came with their own story today, a name of someone they lost.
I lost my son, Sean Howard, in 2019 to Crystal Dawn Love, who was actually a public defender in Maysville.
Osman Omar, and I lost my brother Ben in 2021 to gun violence.
I lost my son Jermaine Allen Birch September the 29th of 2009.
Or as his mother Cheryl Birch knew him, Big Hungry.
I think that sometimes the people that haven't been through it think that there's a funeral, there's a burial, and it's over, and it's not. And especially when you don't get justice.
With bipartisan support for the crisis aversion bill and a sea of red joining in applause. They're hopeful it'll pass. But first, it needs to overcome GOP concerns over Second Amendment rights to do so. The legislation's failed before in years past. In Frankfort, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS 11, on your side.
And the car bill, introduced at the end of January, is still waiting to be sent to a committee before it can be heard on the Senate floor.
If it passes out of that committee, it'll still need to be heard in the full Senate before going to the Kentucky House. That means it still has a long way to go. All new tonight right here at 5 o'clock. Louisville Mayor Greg Greenberg is now reacting to the shooting that happened in Kansas City yesterday, sharing his own personal experience, as you know, with gun violence. It was 2 years ago to the day yesterday. Greg Greenberg was shot at and grazed in his then campaign office while he was running for mayor.
Yesterday I was reflecting on, I've had personal experience thinking about what my administration is doing, working with the community to make our city safer. And to see a tragedy like that happen in another city is just reflective of what we need to do as a country. We can and we must work together to change the laws in our country.
The young man accused of shooting at Mayor Craig Greenberg, Quintez Brown, is expected to have his federal jury trial coming up this summer in August.
And 4 high school students were shot at a school in Atlanta, Georgia, shortly after school got out yesterday. Now, according to the school district, shots were fired from a nearby vehicle, hitting 4 students in the school's parking lot. All of those students were taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So far, 3 people have been detained in relation to that shooting. They're described as a 35-year-old woman, a 17-year-old girl, and a man of an unspecified age. Well, a mom in Adair County has been charged with the murder of her 3-year-old child. On August 29th of last year, 24-year-old Jamie Hendrickson's 3-year-old child died at their home in Adair County. After a months-long death investigation, an Adair County grand jury returned an indictment for murder, and Hendrickson was arrested and charged with murder at the Adair County Detention Center.
Happening today in Old Louisville, security was heightened at No Middle, Manual High School, and the Youth Performing Arts School. This happened this afternoon again after a man was found shot in the area. Metro Police responding to a report of the shooting at 2nd and Hill Streets in the Old Louisville neighborhood just before 1 p.m. today. They found a man who had been shot and was taken to the hospital by EMS. JCPS put those schools in the area on heightened security until they were given the all clear by police about 45 minutes later. All the students and the staff members were safe, and the man who was shot is expected to survive. More local news right here at 5 o'clock tonight. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg now responding to the lawsuit claims made against his wife, Rachel Greenberg, the First Lady. It's coming in the form of a whistleblower lawsuit by a former Metro government employee. Samantha Ricketts alleges that First Lady Rachel Greenberg asked her to complete a task that was not in her job description and was a violation of the Metro Ethics Code. Ricketts decided to report what she believed to be a violation and says she was later fired. The lawsuit states the city violated the Kentucky Whistleblower Act and seeks for a jury trial and unspecified money and other damages. We asked Mayor Greenberg about how the city is handling the allegations.
This is a bunch of recycled and false claims. This has no merit. And look, the city of Louisville elected me to make our city safer, stronger, and healthier. And that's what my administration and I are going to be focused on. So we're not going to be distracted by this.
The mayor also said he appreciates how much time his wife dedicates to volunteering across the city, that she's an unpaid volunteer, just like hundreds of other volunteers who serve on various boards and committees.
Ford's top executive says that last fall's contentious United Auto Workers strike changed the company's relationship with the union, and it could have long-standing impacts. The relations between the company and the union has Ford, quote, thinking carefully on where it will build future vehicles. Ford CEO Jim Farley made these comments at the Wolf Research Global Auto Conference. The Louisville truck plant is one of Ford's most profitable factories, and it was one of the first to be shut down during the UAW strike. The UAW made strong wage gains after a 6-week strike at selected plants run by Ford, General Motors, and Jeep maker Stellantis. Farley said our reliance on the UAW turned out to be we were the first truck plant to be shut down, and he says as the company moves toward electric vehicles, this will have a business impact on where truck plants are built.
The U.S. Department of Transportation is awarding $13 million to Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport to update the airport's infrastructure now.
Yeah, here's how the $13 million will be used. $5.5 million will be used to improve SDF's power system and make it more reliable. It's called the Microgrid Project. It will include a central generator that will keep the building operation even if there's a complete power failure. And the other $7.5 million will be used to add 4 screening lanes to TSA security checkpoints, bringing the total number of screening lanes at the airport to 10.